Now, it's back to the MCG for 3AW's coverage of the round 3 clash between the D's and the Dons.
And welcome back to the MCG. Quarter time here, round 3, Friday night footy. Essendon by 21 points, 6-4-40 to Melbourne, 3-1-19. Jake Stringer and Sean McKernan with 2 apiece. Fantasia and McDonald, Tip and Woody with an amazing conversion with a single goal each, while for Melbourne, Melksham, Neil Bullen and Lockhart the goal kickers. Let's get down to the boundary for McGregor Portables. Here's Tom Morris before Jimmy Bartell and Matthew Lloyd.
Yeah, a little bit of an issue down here, Beaver, with one of the umpires, Matt Stevick, who's done several grand finals, appears to have hurt his hamstring. At quarter time, he made an immediate diversion over towards the Melbourne huddle, where he spoke to the physio and the doctor. He was stretching that right hamstring. Looks as if he's going to start the second quarter on the field, but he doesn't look 100% fit at all. So watch out for the umpire. And just repeating the news earlier, Kobe Mutch, the left hamstring is gone for him, the young Essendon player. He's out for the game, meaning Essendon just have 3 players on the bench. Melbourne have all 4.
Thanks, Tommy. Just before Lloydie and Jimmy Bartell round the grounds with thanks to Me Bank. Me, the bank with low fixed home loan rates at the Whitten Oval at half-time in the VFL. The Footscray Bulldogs 7-7-49 leading Sandringham 4-4-28. And in the game down at GMHBA Stadium, Geelong playing Richmond. And it is the Tigers 6-6-42 leading the Cats 3-4-22. Lloydie and Jimmy, very impressive start by the Dons.
Yeah, well, I'll start on the D's just quickly. For me, Lloydie, they look unbalanced at the moment in their forward half, and that might be a bit of, I guess, their problems in the first couple of rounds. If it's not young Lockhart, there's no player who really butters up front and square. You know, you add the likes of Weedman, Tall gets on the lead, Harms is the resting mid, gets on the lead, McDonald's a lead player, Melksham's a lead player. They're all that lead-up play. If they don't get it or mark it on the lead, the ball's just hitting the deck and getting rebounded far too easily and plays into that rebounding game that Essendon likes to play, and that's how they're being able to pick Melbourne apart, getting them on the transition and the rebound. So maybe another midfield type needs to go in there or just kick it to the top of the square and get more numbers at front and square.
And for the Bombers, sensational response to what has been a poor couple of weeks. Dylan Shield, he's set the scene, 12 disposals, broken the lines time and time again. Heppel, the captain's leading from the front. Zaharakis has been dangerous. You give him time and space, he'll hurt you. And McGrath's been good. So all the runners for Essendon have given silver service to McKern, who's kicked 2, and Stringer, who's kicked 2 as well. And good to see Fantasia and Tip and Woody hit the scoreboard. So pressure's on Melbourne here with the Bombers out to a 21-point lead.
6-4-40 to 3-1-19. Second quarter coming up. Thanks to Tyre Power. Get the power of expert advice and lower prices at Tyre Power. Don't forget, huge triple header tomorrow on 3AW footy from midday. Their first match, Carlton and the Sydney Swans at Marvel Stadium. Big one at Giant Stadium, the twilight game between GWS and Richmond. And then the grand final rematch tomorrow night here at the G, Collingwood and the West Coast Eagles. Dwayne Russell on 3AW Friday night footy.
21 points to margin from the restart. Second term underway. Brayshaw kick around the body, and the mark has been taken by Gawn, front of the pack. But it was just the required 15, and he fans it wide back to Brayshaw, the man who kicked it initially. He takes the mark just in front of Merritt, but he's a long way from home. Wheels inside, kick half smothered. Stringer's got it. He's under it, and just grabbed a little by Tom McDonald as he took the mark. And he's a centre-half back, so a long way from home. And not sure about the kick to Saab. What was that? So Shield mopped up that little mess. Ball comes back out to McKenna on a back pocket. He kicks around his body hoping for Hurley. Got him, luckily. And Hurley is on a half-back flank and goes all the way back to Francis, who's at fullback. Strange start, but they cross it to Guelphy, and he can go. Not a bad cross to the open side because Sard's got away from Viney, and he can run the wing. Southern stand side, had a bounce. Could have gone for another. Goes out wide to Fantasia, who's been lively. Player in the protected area, called for 50, goes long, under at McDonald, Tip and Woody, weighted down, didn't go for the mark attempt. Salem, little knockdown, Heppel, little scoop up, ball knocked by Brayshaw, on defensive 50, Wagner, the pair of them are there, neither of them can get it. Merritt lays a tackle, and the umpire said the tackle was too high. And it's a free kick to the Demons on defensive 50, early stages. Second term, still a 21-point margin to the Bombers.
Simon Goodwin's adjusted things. Harms went with Merritt in the first quarter. He's now tagging Dylan Shield.
Jetta, the recipient of the free kick, he went sideways to Salem, who went very short to Gawn. It's a longer kick and a neat pass to Hunt. Centre wing, floats it over the top. Brayshaw marks right on the chalk of the boundary line. Just forward to centre wing on the southern stand side. Melbourne kick to the punt road end in the second term, and they need some early goals. He tries to wait the pass, and he does well, because Lockhart's not a tall man, and he takes the mark between a couple of bombers, and one of them was Francis. He centres it up. Now, was that over the shoulder to Melksham? Petrarca grabs the footy, tackled by Parrish. Melksham, tackled by his opposite 18 in Hurley, gives it off by hand to Corey Wagner, who snaps a goal. And there's the first of those early ones they need. Back to a 15-point deficit. 4-1-25 the D's, 6-4-40 the Bombers. Tyre Power scoreboard. And we've travelled just 2.5 minutes of the second term.
First goal in league footy, Beaver, Corey Wagner, because he was hugged by his brother. I think it was the first player to get to him in a huge embrace, which is great to see. Is that right, Beaver?
Correct, yep.
Yeah.
10th game of senior footy, of course, came from North Melbourne, and the first time he's kicked the 6-pointer.
Brayshaw getting out and spreading really hard at the moment for the D's. The last couple of forward thrusts, he's been the one who's spread really hard to the fat side. But what's been really noticeable, Lloydie, is Merritt's intent to tackle and get amongst the contest early. He's trying to get himself really inside the game.
From the right contest, Gawn got up against Bill Chambers. Ball not down. Now Stringer had a long time, too long, holding the ball. He's got a great clearance rate, Stringer, so they set him in for that, but he couldn't quite get it there. McGrath waited for Sard to go. Sard was kind of hoping McGrath went. Sard went and got it in the end. Floats it wide. McDonald Tippenwoody says it stands on its end and will get a ball in on a half back flank for the Bombers, half forward flank for Melbourne. 40 plays 25. 4 minutes gone. Second term brought to you by Tyre Power. Ball back into play. And the two ruckmen tie up again. Both had a piece of each other. No free. Oliver's got it. Gave the handball out just in time. Fritsch around the body. Got it towards Neil Bullen. He gave it to Harms. He's got a kick to the pocket. It's a mongrel. And I reckon it's out of play. Umpire said play on. So Melksham was allowed to keep going with it. I thought it was out from my angle. Hurley's got it for the Bombers. Floats it out. And Smith takes the mark for Essendon on a half-back flank.
Lucky to get away there with, well, that's a turnover by Devon Smith. He was looking for McDonald, Tippenwoody, telegraphed it. Oliver intercepted, skids a kick towards left half forward. Smith tries to make up for his mistake. Tom McDonald worried him out of it, got it to Wiedemann, floated a handball over the top. Now Melbourne fans are crying for holding the man. Essendon rebound. Shield was brilliant, knew he was under the pump, so just palmed it to Parrish. Clear turf opens up ahead of him. He's taken 3 bounces, kicks it over the top. Zach Clark takes the mark.
He turned his back.
He should have run on. Instead, he'll go back and take a set shot from 30 out directly in front. He could have strolled into an open goal or even given it off by hand.
Not sure about the decision by Frost either to come running up. He was never going to impact the contest. The pressure was going to come from behind. Just make Parrish make the decision coming through the back of the square.
So Zach Clark in his first game for the Bombers for the quick reply. Drop punt is a miss. Oh dear. 6-5-41 Essendon, 4-1-25 Melbourne. Tyre Power scoreboard, and I reckon he'd like to have those 45 seconds again.
I still don't reckon he knows 2 blokes for free.
No.
He turned his back on him. How would he know?
Ruckman.
I reckon he'll get told at half time. Wow, his own man should have gone and tackled him. From the kick in long. Gawn's there. Ambrose got there. Double-fisted it back towards attacking 50. Oliver just inside the boundary. And now there's a Melbourne player down. Is he okay? It's Tom McDonald. He was fisting the turf as if he's got a really, really big issue. And he might be coming straight to the bench. So Tom Morris to bring us the latest on Tom McDonald. But this does not look good. 6 minutes gone. Second term. 41 plays 25. Essendon lead, and Melbourne could be down a man.
He's still hobbling towards the bench as the ball spins back into play. Harms with a handball to Neil Bullen, with a handball to Lockhart. His handball was pickpocketed by McKenna. Lowers the eyes, neat pass to Shield, who's best on ground at the moment from 49. Flying shot, a goal, hits the post. Hits his second poster for the night, in fact.
Straight down the race, it looks like, for Tom McDonald.
Yeah, that is a big story. In fact, should we get down to Tom Morris now before the kick-in?
Yeah, he's going down the race. I don't know what's up, but it's his leg, and he's just not really moving too well at all.
That looks like a left ankle.
He's in a lot of pain, fellas.
Yeah, it's rolled out, and it's a big roll out, and be interested to know whether he's got history there Salem's got it half-back flank. Handballed it up to Kolodjasny. He tried to slap it out towards Brayshaw. Up against the boundary. Kolodjasny didn't want to race with McDonald, Tibbon, Woody, but he gave him a free for in the back. And McDonald, Tibbon, Woody has had an impact so far tonight. Stringer's about to come back on for Essendon. McDonald, Tibbon, Woody looks up. Almost caught from behind. Pressure on the kick, Heppel. And is that 50? He was manhandled late, but he's taken the mark and he looks okay. He plays on quickly, thinks about McKernan, puts it out in front, and he's got it. Great hands, McKernan. 47 out from goal.
Their back line is in disarray, Melbourne. Just the ease at which the marks inside forward 50 for the first 3 rounds. Justin Westhoff, I watched him in round 1 here live. Westhoff took so many marks unattended inside that forward 50, and again, you can just place it to the favoured side of a forward at Essendon because they're guarding grass, not actually an opponent. So I'd actually like to come out of retirement with the way Melbourne are actually guarding players because they're not putting any time and effort or an arm across these Essendon forwards.
So McKernan from 49 again nearly hits the roof here at the G, and we don't have one. And he's kicked it straight, so it doesn't matter. 8 minutes gone. Second term, and he steadies the ship. 7-6-48 to 4-1-25. We're back to, what's that, a 23-point margin. And he's got 3.
Oh, boy. The concerning thing for me, Lordy, is actually a few efforts from Melbourne players. Kolodjasny then, Wiedemann down in the forward line. Just gentle efforts. So the ball hasn't come to them perfectly, but just, trying to knock the ball, trying to get the perfect one to come up, not following up their repeat effort. Take the ball, take the contest, take the contact as well, and fight your way through a tackle. Wiedemann had 2 chances down inside 50 here. He was only lucky the fact that Clark, blundered it inside 50, but Parrish won the ball because of that. You've got to actually body line the ball and take the contest.
So what can the Demons show from here? Well, Max Gawn says, I'm going to do something about it. He wins the tap. And then soccers it out of mid-air. It almost reaches full forward. Petrarca wobbles through a goal. I don't think it was touched. Melbourne get the quick reply. Back to a 17-point deficit. 5-1-31. Essendon 7-6-48. Petrarca with his first. That's on the Tyre Power scoreboard. We've still got 13 minutes 40 remaining in the second term.
That's what you love about clearances in this game. You can quickly get the momentum back with a clearance like that. Max Gawn, well done. And it's keeping Melbourne in it, to be honest. On the outside, Essendon looked far too quick for Melbourne. But this quarter alone, 5 clearances to 0 in favour of the Melbourne Football Club. So puts pressure on the Essendon defence. Doesn't allow Sard and McKenna to run, and it gives Petrarca a chance. So that'll do wonders for his confidence with an early goal.
And just went after it, and that's what I was asking for. Just keep hunting it and make your way through the contest.
So back in the middle, ball tossed in the air. Why aren't they bouncing tonight? Ball to ground looks pretty good, but maybe they don't have any decent bounces, and last night was a debacle. McDonald, Tibbon, Woody hands it over to Shield, runs to half forward, kicks it long, Stringer. Well played by Jetta. He just got him under the ball, and now he fumbles Jetta, and Stringer got him by the ear. That'll be too high, but he puts a knee into his chest, Jake Stringer, and lets him know that he was lucky. There's a push and shove. Is there 50? No. So it's Jetta's ball at fullback. 10 minutes gone. 48 plays 31. Essendon lead.
Handball's off to Hibberd, the ex-Bomber. Kicks it to a Bomber. Guelphy takes the mark. The nice intercept at centre wing, and he kicks it straight to Clayton Oliver with another nice intercept. Oliver then honours the lead of Melksham. Melbourne going with a very small forward line at the moment. Melksham wheels around, waits the pass. Jaden Hunt. He watched it float over his right shoulder, hugged it to his chest. Mark taken about 43 out, slightly better than a 45-degree angle.
Well done, Clayton Oliver. He rolled it, from the far side of the ground, jumped in front of McKernan's lead there. That ball was McKernan on the chest. He'd be having a shot. So brave, but smart reading of the play there by Clayton Oliver.
Jaden Hunt, game number 50 tonight. Celebrated a birthday, his 24th, a couple of days ago, and he can't celebrate off the side of the floor. Big mark taken there by, is it Little Locker?
It is.
All 177 centimetres of him. That is a mark of the night, with thanks to the Drain Man.
Drain Man.
That is a coach killer, that
Did you do the ad, Jim?
It sounded perfect, Jim, but that is a coach killer. Zach Clark, and I'm not sure his Essendon teammate, how they let this smallest man on the ground mark that. It's unforgivable.
Steps out, kicks with the left, and the snap is true. He's got 2. And the Demons, with a couple in a row, are back within 11 points. 6-1-37 Melbourne. 7-6-48 Essendon. Tyre Power scoreboard. We're only 11 3/4 minutes into the second term.
Well, you can't blame Zach Clark and the other Essendon defender not knowing much about him. They didn't have a headshot for him here at the MCG. They're just running with the blank one for Lockhart. But his first game last week, and one thing he does do, he has an absolute crack. Being a small fella, he knows his role in the team is just to compete every single time. So, well done. Great grab and classy finish.
Tom Morris downstairs for McGregor Portables.
Yeah, Devon Smith has a corky. He's managing that at the moment, heavily strapped on his left leg. But the real problem for Melbourne is Tom McDonald, still not up from the rooms. That ankle in real trouble. He may not come back on.
Yeah, Devon Smith copped that one in that centre square clearance attempt about a couple of minutes ago.
And that mark was taken over Zach Clark, who he's conceding 26 centimetres to.
Clark lays a tackle in the middle, and most of the Melbourne players counted into Clark after it as well. Shield goes long, puts it over McKernan's head. A drop mark by Frost. Now Corey Wagner gets there, handballs it over the top. In fact, that was Josh. He tried to get it over the top to a teammate. Mad scramble here with Bagley. Gave it up to McGrath. Kick smothered. Goes back to Josh Wagner. Kicks around the body for Neil Bullen. His own man Hunt was in his way. Ball falls to Merritt. 70 from goal. Squeezed to Tassard. 60 from goal. Caught. Got a handball over Hunt's head. Merritt takes it out and will get a ball in about 75 from the Essendon goal. 7-6 to 6-1. Just a little momentum change here. Heading back in Melbourne's direction, even though the Bombers still lead.
Gee, that was a heavy landing for Neil Bullen after that attempted big mark there at right half back. Gawn wins it down, but straight to Parrish. Scrambles a kick inside forward 50. McKernan's the target, and why not? Because he's got three. Off hands. Hibbert with a little handball there to Kolajasny. Back to Hibbert. Tries to fend off Zarakis and does so. Kicks it powerfully, just forward to centre wing. Melcham. Strong hands. Great mark in front of Hurley. Another nomination with thanks to the drain man. Slipped as he kicked it, but it still might work out all right. It's at the hot spot, 25 out. Essendon will mop up through Ambrose. Made to handball. Then telegraphed the handball straight to Ridley, who somehow wriggled out of a tackle, which isn't easy to say. Got a handball to Sard. He clears the area, but he kicks it straight to a Melbourne player, and that's Viney, who's got it at right half forward.
Sergeant, look. Viney back to the top of the square, to the hot spot. Hunts at the back, gathers, kicks, goals. Momentum has changed big time. Bombers did lead by 21 at quarter time. We're now 14 and a half minutes into the second. Brought to you by Tyre Power. And the margin is back to 5 points. They are on the march right now. Don't forget, if you are in the market for some new tyres, head down to Tyre Power, get the power of expert advice. And why not pay a visit to Brett and Harold down at Tyre Power Bulleen. There are 2 Manningham Road, Bulleen. They'll look after you. Just ask for Brett or Harold at Tyre Power down there and tell them 3AW Footy sent you. Tom Morris downstairs for McDonald Portables.
A remarkable recovery. McGregor Portables, a remarkable recovery. Tom McDonald is looking like he's going to come back on. It's his left ankle. He's stretching. He's jumping. He should be okay. Devon Smith down to the rooms without corky.
Do you know, I reckon, though, they're better without him down there. I reckon they are better and more dynamic with a small forward line.
4 straight to 1-2 in this second quarter, and they'll go forward again through Viney. Courage shown there by Guelphy, getting back with the fly to the footy. No mark taken at centre half forward. In fact, we'll have a throw up just inside the Demons' forward 50-metre arc. It's been an impressive response. We're only 15 and a half minutes into the second term. Wiedemann outpointed there by Bell Chambers. No one can win the football. Stacks on the mill, and surely we'll have more work for the men in yellow to do. 7-6 plays 7-1.
I'm with you, Lordy. I think he going down, it's actually forced a change, put a smaller player in that balance we asked for on the forward line. They look more balanced.
Essendon by 5 points. Bell Chambers down to Zarakis, who went storming away. A couple of bounces, impressive run, but then kicks it straight to Sam Frost, who takes the mark at centre half back.
Go to Brayshaw. He spears it to half forward, sits it up a bit. Neil Bullen first to go from behind. Fantasia's got it, middle of the ground. Scoops a handball, but straight to Salem. He tries to get away, got a handball up just in time to Wagner. He goes to Wagner. He kicks to half forward. Hunt's under it. Big leap, no mark. Hits the deck. Melbourne a chance here, although Francis cuts it off. Gave it to Merritt. Nearly a chance for the Demons to take the lead. Rolling ball out in McDonald, Tim and Woody's direction. Frost got there first. but he fell. McDonald Timberwood, he lays a big tackle. Ball comes to Fantasia. Gave it to Parrish. A settling goal here if Clark can go and get it. He's 40 from goal. It was a bad kick. Clark's 50 from goal. Loose it back to Heppel. 80 from goal. Dan steps Brayshaw. Kicks long inside 50, and under it was Fritsch. Couldn't take the mark. Spears it back to Brayshaw, and he takes a mark, and he's got to be spent. Third possession in this string of play, and he finds his target, Melksham, on the wing.
Melksham, the lead-up target, and he's providing a good option. Waits the pass to Lockhart, who's kicked a couple of goals in an impressive second game. Draws the man and then handballs to Brayshaw, who kept running and delivers brilliantly on the left boot to Petrarca, who marked in front of his eyes, 45 out on slightly better than a 45-degree angle.
Well, I think the second gamer is the one who's given them the lift in the forward line. He looked up there and saw the extra number back for the Bombers. So instead of just blazing away or trying to stick one into the tight defence, ran at the man on the mark until he committed. Created the overlap. Very smart play there.
Gee, all the chests will be pumped out at North Launceston Footy Club tonight. Brad Jones and Stan Reid and all those legends down there. As Petrarca with a chance to put the Demons in front by a point. He's usually a booming kick, and you give a bloke a rap, it's off the side of the boot. It'll land about 15 out from goal, and that should be a free kick to the Bombers for too high. And it'll go to Zach Merritt in the left back pocket. Essendon 7-6, Melbourne 7-1. We've played 18 minutes of the second term.
Merritt nowhere to go. Pressure on the kick. Sits it on Fantasia's head. He was met by Harms from behind, and it's going to be either a free kick, a 50 or a mark. I'm not sure what the umpire's paying here. He's going to report him. He jumped into him. Love to hear Jimmy Bartell on the replay and see what he thinks. It's 50. It's a 50-metre penalty.
It's not a report.
Is it 50, though? Was it in the marking
A little
contest?
bit late, you think, Jim?
Yeah, maybe a touch late. If 50 is probably the right result.
Yeah, rightio.
It was more his body collected him. He missed him with the fist and sort of that defender's ear massage.
Yep.
Yeah, the elbow sort of just comes through and gives the ear massage, but big body check.
Was the attempt at the ball, though?
Yeah, he was still attempting the ball.
All right. Ridley gets on the end of the short pass, goes to Francis, so they did have it on the wing, and they went back to centre-half back.
Go back to 50.
Yep. And here we go. Sard runs one way, then the other. Gave to Ambrose. He overcooked his pass attempt. Hunt is on the move. He gave it to Big Max Corner, who doesn't move that well. Salem gives it out wide to Hibbert. Now the Demons on the march here. They could take the lead here. Long kick. Francis half forward. Manhandled by Petrarca. He got it off to Harms. He could take the lead. They're in front. Melbourne's in front. 20 minutes gone. Second term. They lead by a point after being down by 21 at quarter time.
Amazing, just amazing. And I go back to that Zach Clark miss, and what a momentum killer that was.
Yep.
Zach Clark turned his back on the play probably, 10 minutes ago. Would have put him up, was it 4 or 5 goals up at that stage, the Bombers, and he went back, stabbed at the ball, and it's been all Melbourne ever since. Essendon turning the footy over. Brayshaw, you touched on his work rate just moments ago, Dwayne. He's just kept going and going, and they're lowering their eyes, and that's where McDonald, is he still on the bench, Tom? Tom Morris? Yeah, so Tom McDonald.
No, he's come onto the wing.
On the wing.
Oscar's on the bench.
Yeah, it's a great move. Don't put him in the forward line because it's working beautifully. Their pressure's been much better. So Tom McDonald will help rotations, but keep him out of the small forward line. 5
straight to 1-2 in this second term. Gawn reaches over the top of Bell Chambers and wins the tap, but straight to Zaharakis. Handball to Heppel. Handball was down at the bootlaces of McKenna, but he was clean below his knees. Scooped it up. The pass to Bagley wasn't as good, but McKenna kept running and got the ricochet. Clever kick back inboard. Shield, who's been superb, takes the mark, arches the back, then missed his boot. He was just put off slightly by the touch by Harms. Emerging with it was Salem. Took an early bounce. Streaks away from Zach Clark. Kicks towards Jaden Hunt. And he takes a mark in front of his opposite 29 in Ambrose. And the Demons will go forward again.
It's game on now. Tom McDonald on the wing takes the mark. Game's gone up a gear. He spears it a half forward to Petrarca. Nice set of hands. And he sees the man running out. It's Wiedemann. As you can hear the weed ring around the MCG. And this will keep the momentum Melbourne's direction. And all of a sudden ask some questions of the Bombers. at half-time, which can't come quick enough for the Bombers right now.
Massive second quarter by Petrarca.
Really smart play there. He took the ball, faced straight away to the forward 50 and made the decision, which allowed Whedon to run back into some open space.
So this kick and then 5 more minutes in the quarter. Struck it pretty well. Never in doubt from Wiedemann. 22 minutes gone. Second term, and Melbourne are hotter than they've been all year. 9-1-55. Essendon 7-6-48. And really, it's over to you, Bombers. What have you actually got left?
Well, they're able to match them in the first quarter with the contested possession. We all know Melbourne, that's what they pride themselves on. But Melbourne are starting to get on top now in the contested possession this quarter. So just starting to edge it. We're asking for them to get more physical, more involved in the contest. They're certainly up that. They're starting to win a few more of those one-on-one contests, highlighted by the Jaden Hunt mark here on the wing.
Clayton Oliver 7 this quarter, Brayshaw 7, Salem 7. So all their good ball users, and Petrarca's had the 5, but quality inside 50 disposals. And as I said, they've got the space now. They've opened up their forward line. Hurley has to take Petrarca, so good matchups here for Melbourne.
We'll get down to Tom Morris again at the next stoppage. Zach Clark wins the tap. Zaharakis runs onto it. Handball to Shield. Look away. Handball to Merritt. Waits the pass brilliantly to Heppel. Lowers the eyes. Honours the lead of Stringer through his hands. There was good pressure from Jeddah. Play on's the call. Hibbert on hands and knees. Couldn't emerge with it. Jeddah did. Gave it off by hand to Brayshaw. Quick kick out towards centre wing. Awkward bouncing ball. Show of strength between Francis and Petrarca. No clear winner. Francis dived on the footy. Needs a hand, and he gets one from Ridley. Scooped it up. Handball to Zaharakis. Handball to Clark. Handball to Sard, who took an early bounce and then left it behind. Everything going wrong for Essendon. Gawn's got it. Handball to Brayshaw. Kicks out very wide. Mark not taken by Melksham. He was bowled over there by McKenna. Stops and props and then pops a little pass over the top.
How's that 15?
It's not. And Parrish has paid the mark for a kick that went 8.
The mowing strip's a 9, and it was shorter than the mowing strip. McKernan made a contest, knocked it down. Here's the kid Lockhart as well. It's been Lockhart gorgeous so far in this game, and he gets it on the wing, Lockhart. Short pass, here's a roller, got it to Harms, gathers just inside the line, caught by McKenna. That's on the full, off Clark's leg. So it's a Melbourne ball to Harms. He kicked it into Clark's leg.
Got him.
And Harms pops it. Heppel jumps in, makes a contest. Melksham was down there. Scramble from Hurley, and he found Parrish, and they get it out of 50, although it'll be coming back. Big Maxi Gauns taking them up middle of the ground for the D's.
It's a crowded forward line. He'll kick it out to the fat side. Petrarca's on the move. Hurley was all over him. Will there be a free kick paid? No. And Petrarca still turning around, appealing to the umpire. Arms outstretched. A chorus of boos again from the Melbourne fans as the ball rolls out. 25 metres around from the Melbourne goal. Right forward pocket. The Demons have kicked 6 straight to 1-2 in this second term, which still has 4:03 remaining. Quick throw in. Gawn wins the tap. Neil Bullen crashes through. Was he caught high? Umpire said no. And eventually the whistle goes. We'll have a throw up. 25 out from the Melbourne goal. Slight angle, punt road end. The Demons by 7 points.
Tossed in the air. Gawn, Clark, Merritt. Bounced off, kick smothered. A roller. Jones hasn't seen a lot of it. Gave it off to Wagner. Tucked up against the pocket. Kicks a central. Maxi! Big Maxi Gawn. Top of the square. And the bearded one is starting to rise to the occasion.
He is, and it's great to have him back because, he's had a quiet few weeks. It doesn't matter how good you've been. You can lose some confidence. And Maxi didn't even start this game that well, but the clearances starting to dominate. He's starting to take some marks, and now he's up to 9 disposals, and good to see him hit the scoreboard here, pushing forward on Clark and also Bell Chambers.
For Melbourne's 10th, top of the square, drives it through, brilliant. Big Maxi's back, and Melbourne are back from 21 points down at quarter time. They're going to have a handy break at half time. 25 gone, and more importantly, 3 left in this second term, brought to you by Tyre Power. 7-6-48, the Bombers. Melbourne 10-1-61, and we talked about scoring accuracy being down. Well, last night it was up, and tonight it's up again. 10-1.
Yeah, 13 scores to 11, but the 11 scores leads by 13 points.
Yeah, Clark's not having a great quarter. We mentioned that missed shot on goal after he missed a few teammates in the goal square, and then just caught ball watching. The ball was only 30 metres away, but yet Max had a 10-metre head start on it.
7 goals to 1, Jim, this quarter. 7 goals to 1. So it's a huge 3 minutes for Essendon. They must kick this next goal.
Belchambers and Gawn, no clear winner. Bit of aerial ping pong, still no clearance. Awkward bounce for Viney. Heppel went to ground. It actually created a path for Parrish. You got a little handball to Merritt. Kicks out wide. McDonald, Tip and Woody marks right on the sponsor's logo. The big M for McDonald's out there on centre wing. McDonald, Tip and Woody kicks down the line. He's looking for Stringer. Well committed there was Hibbert, affected the spoil. Heppel on hands and knees, shoveled out a handball to Stringer. That was half a throw over his head. It went out of bounds anyway before it could get to Merritt. And we'll have a throw in 60 to 65 around from the Essendon goal, which is the City end in this second term. We tick past 27 minutes. And on the Tyre Power scoreboard, it's the Demons by 13 points.
So Clark's been sent forward. McKernan's at full forward. Stringer's at full forward. Gawn in the ruck contest against Belchambers, who fell into Gawn, gave him a free. He chips it wide. Bouncing ball out there on the wing to be won. Merritt got it inside to McKenna. Gave it up to Shield. Little fumble. Stolen back by Wagner. Gave it to Petrarca. He hands it over the top to Wagner again. He heads long. In fact, it was Harms. Goes to the top of the square. Little bouncing ball. A roller. Melksham manhandled. No free. Demon fans screaming for it. And he's looking at the umpire, Melksham. Saying, are you watching the same game I'm watching? 27 and a half gone. Second term, 61 to 48. And that's why they're screaming. He got a little one to the temple.
But he wasn't even watching the ball, Hurley. So
Yeah.
he's got a fair argument there, Melksham.
Yarra Valley Toyota replay was pretty damning. Can the Demons convert here again? Not if Sard's got anything to do with it. Scoops it up and handballs to Fantasia, who bangs it back to centre wing. Good body work though by Big Frost. Got rid of McKernan and took the mark. High kick back towards left half forward. High flyers there. Maxey! Almost the drain man mark of the night. Play on's the call. Plenty of players around the pill. McGrath shovels it out to Parrish. Handballs over the top to Fantasia, who's off to the races. He's taken 2 bounces. The old one, 2 to McKernan.
I got a beep.
Yeah, you got a Dwayne.
Kicks inside 50. McDonald Tipper Woody takes the mark. He won't play on. He'll hold it up 40 from goal. And boy, do they need this. As Lloydie told you, they have been comprehensively outplayed all quarter. But this, at least, can give them some confidence heading into half-time.
I was recovering, but it was late.
Finally, Melbourne, just their pressure's been enormous on Essendon. They got out on the outside. Fantasia and Tip and Woody burnt them for speed.
McDonald, Tip and Woody from 47. Looks okay, but it's drifting a little. He's got it. So at the 30-minute mark of the second term, or more importantly, with 1 minute left to half-time, Essendon get a steadier. 8-6-54 to Melbourne, 10-1, 61, 7-point game, and a massive second half coming your way on 3AW footy by the looks of things. Let's head downstairs to Tom Morris.
Fellas, for the last 15 minutes, they've had 2 fit men on the bench, Essendon. We know that Kobe Mutch is out for the game. Devon Smith went downstairs, had a concussion test. He's only just gone back on. That could go some way to explaining why they've had a poor little period of play.
Second goal for McDonald, Tip and Woody. And Lloydie, what have you seen already in this half? Does he look to be working his way back into a bit of touch?
Much better than last week, but it's also the ball movement's been a little bit better tonight for Essendon than it was for him last week against the Saints and also the Giants the week before.
Now, the Bombers have had only the 4 individual goal kickers, 9 individual goal kickers for the Demons. Now, Belchambers wins the tap and then keeps following it up and forces it forward, almost, well, in fact, inside forward 50 to centre half forward for the Bombers with no clean possession. Good pressure here. Heppel a chance. Kicks it right-footed around the corner. Zach Clark at full forward. Grabs the footy. The ball's held to him by Oscar McDonald. And we'll have a throw-up, 25 out from the Essendon goal. 37 seconds until the half. Can the Bombers pinch a late one? Gawn and Zach Clark. Gawn wins it down. Falls to Fritsch. Left foot kick. It rolls. It trickles outside defensive 50. Heppel there with Jaden Hunt. Hunt was being held onto by Heppel. Socketed off the ground towards Wiedemann. He was being held as well. Umpires put the whistle away. Stacks on the mill. And eventually the whistle comes for a throw-up about 80 metres out from the Essendon goal, between wing and half forward on this member stand side with 17 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, time enough for something crazy from here. Gawn and Belchambers tie up. Harms got it. Won't be something crazy. Oliver kicks around the body towards the wing. Under at Ambrose and he takes the mark. Good body use. And it should be half-time here. He goes backwards to go forward. So unless Ridley drops it, which he doesn't, it's half-time. MCG, and this game on a nice edge. Two teams without a win for 2019. Both of them know that a loss here might make making the finals a little too tough. And Beaver pre-game might have hit the nail on the head. We might actually have no winner at the end of this one because we're on track maybe for a draw. It's been that kind of contest. Half-time, to tell you more about it after we take a break, will be Jimmy Bartell and Matthew Law. We'll get the latest on the injury news as well with Tom Morris. So stick around. But at half-time, Melbourne 10-1, 61. Essendon 8-6, 54. 3RW is football.
Footy highlights brought to you by McDonald's.
Hibberd was ripped off the footy. Hempel, handball to string a goal. But he's got company immediately. The ball spills free. The quick snap by Lockhart. The young Tasmanians kick the goal on a 60-degree angle. He lets fly with a monster drop punt, and he kicks the goal. McDonald, Tip and Woody should handball to Devon Smith. He didn't. Gets round 2. Gets round 3. Right foot snap. Oh wow! That's why he didn't give it off by hand. Oh, McDonald, Tip and Woody. What a highlight, what a goal. Gives it off by hand to Corey Wagner, who snaps a goal. Melksham, tackled by his opposite 18 in Hurley, gives it off by hand to Corey Wagner, who snaps a goal.
Manhandled by Petrarca. He got it off to Harms. He could take the lead. They're in front.
They are in front, Melbourne. They turned a 21-point deficit at quarter time into a 7-point half-time lead. 7 straight goals, the Demons, in the second term to 2-2 from the Bombers, who led, as I said, by 3.5 goals at the first change. But it is Melbourne 10-1-61 at half-time to Essendon 8-6-54. This is half-time with thanks to Sheen Panel Service. When the unexpected happens on the road, choose Sheen Panel Service as your repairer. Tom Morris with an injury report very, very shortly, thanks to Arnold, Thomas and Becker. Quickly, the goal kickers for the Demons. 2 to Jay Lockhart in just his second game. Singles to Harms, Petrarca, Gawn, Melksham, Wiedemann, Hunt, Neil Bullen and Corey Wagner. While for the Bombers, 3 to Sean McKernan, 2 each to McDonald, Tippenwoody and Stringer, and 1 to Orazio Fantasia. Before Lloydie and Jimmy Bartell, Tom Morris with the latest on the injuries.
And Beaver, let's start with Melbourne. Tom McDonald's left ankle. He went down to the rooms. He actually banged his fist on the ground in frustration when he went down on the ground. He came back out about 5 minutes later, and I think he should be okay. In fact, he's gone back on the ground, as Lloydie mentioned, on the wing, clearing out that forward line. So only a brief concern for Melbourne. Otherwise, it's a clean bill of health. Essendon, not so. Devon Smith had 15 minutes off that quarter with concussion. He came back on in the end, so he passed the concussion test, but clearly that impacted their rotations. He's also got a left corky that he's struggling to run out. But the real issue is Kobe Mutch, who's done for the night. Left hamstring. That was early in the first quarter, meaning Essendon have 3 rotations, with Devon Smith operating at about 70 or 80%. So the Bombers certainly with more concerns than Melbourne.
And what is still a very warm night. Temperature still
26 degrees.
In the mid-20s. That would be 26, wouldn't it? Jimmy Bartell and Matthew Lloyd to drill into a very entertaining and high-scoring opening half. 18 goals we've seen already.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, the Bombers were 6 goals to 3 up at quarter time, and then Melbourne kicked 7 of the first 8 goals in this second quarter, with Tip and Woody kicking the last goal for the Bombers to get it back to 7 points. But 24 points up they got, Essendon, in that second quarter at the 7-minute mark. So it was all there for them. Zach Clark had a moment he'd love to take back, where he turned his back on the goals, 20 metres out directly in front. He still should kick it. He missed it, and then suddenly all the momentum went Melbourne's way, and they got on a real roll. And I want to name some of the players that turned it around. Brayshaw, what a player he's become. 10 disposals and tough as anything. Breaks the lines, used it beautifully. He was brilliant. Oliver, Jimmy, you touched on one where he got back. He just, and in the whole of Essendon, took the mark and then worked it forward. He's been brilliant. I think Hunt, Jaden Hunt, his speed's been important. And Max Gawn, wasn't it great to see him back? So obviously the other one I want to highlight too is the first quarter of Shield. He was probably best on ground. Second quarter, he had 7 disposals, 4 kicks, but 0% by foot. So James Harms went to him and I thought he was really influential, Harms, in that second quarter.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Put him under pressure, and that's been a bit of a knock on Dylan Shield, is his ball use, and he missed a couple of shots and goal. Mind you, they hit the post, so he wasn't far away. So, yeah, Melbourne dialed it up around the contest, which is what, their trademark football, or, they always talk about, what we focus on the most. They dialed it up around the contest, but they were more aggressive in the contest. A few efforts early in that quarter and most of the first quarter, they were sort of just coming through the contest and exiting, and Essendon outnumbered really well. Essendon still look really dangerous when their halfbacks and their wings can get involved from behind the footy and get up involved in the game. And I think that's the key. And James Kelly, the assistant coach of Essendon, spoke about it before the game. They keep trying to tell them, take the reins off. Don't overthink the game. Just play and play free. And I think that's how we saw McDonald tip and Woody's goal, which was the first one, which was miraculous. You could almost say, I'm just playing football, like I'm playing in the schoolyard or wherever, having fun. We said he missed a handball, but whatever. But he played free, and I think that's the key for John Warsall and the coaching staff for Essendon to get that sort of momentum back going. Is everyone get involved in the attack coming through, which I think for Essendon, when they all get involved well in their attack, it actually puts them in a better position to defend. When they sit back and go, we've got to really focus on defence, they get far too deep and too far off their man because they all think, I'm the one who's got to zone off. So for me, Essendon's best defence comes off their attack.
It was by necessity, but you like the change early in the second quarter as well. You know where we're going with this, Lloydie, where Melbourne, all of a sudden, their tallest players in the forward line were 186 centimetres in Melksham and Petrarca. Tom McDonald was off the ground, Gorn was in the ruck, and Wiedemann was cleared out of the forward 50 as well. All of a sudden, they were dynamic.
He's not in form, Tom McDonald, at all, and he's had 3 disposals. I know he was off, but he had two possessions before he hurt his ankle. He went off, and I thought not only did they more dynamic and a bit more flexible in their forward line.
They looked more open.
They were more open, but their pressure suddenly improved. Jaden Hunt went down there, was laying tackles, and the first gamer we spoke about, Jay Lockhart was brilliant. Wiedemann got a bit on the end of it. Melksham missed a few free kicks, but it was lively.
Yeah, and that was my concern at quarter time. After watching the first quarter, I highlighted those players. They're all just your lead up. You have one crack at winning the footy, and they weren't marking the footy. Now, not saying they're a better side with McDonald off the field, but I think the way this game is set up and the way it's being played, I think he needs to be higher up the ground because the space it's creating in behind him, we mentioned all those names, but they look more balanced because then if they do have to kick in quick or it's missed on the lead, you've got that extra small or mid-sized type player whose natural game is to butter up on the ground. When you've got McDonald deep inside 50, it's come out on the lead, ball hits the ground, and it was getting rebounded far too easily.
Positive for Essendon, though, Beaver, is that this is the best half I've seen them play. It wasn't a great quarter from them, but their energy, their cohesion, the passion, which we've been looking for, has been there from them. And if Melbourne don't keep applying pressure, Essendon on the outside looks super dangerous. So I think that's where it's got to be. If Melbourne keep the pressure up, they win. If they don't, Essendon can cause an upset here.
Yeah, well, the Bombers have had 14 scores to 11, but they trail by 7 points. And as Jimmy said as well, Dylan Shield has hit the post twice. It's 8-6 Essendon, 10-1 Melbourne. Just before we take a break and take some news headlines, it is half-time with thanks to Sheen Panel Service. Tom Morris rejoins us with some news of the day.
Yeah, Paul Seedsman, he's avoided an ACL injury. What a shocking incident that was last night. The hyperextension of the leg, I think we all feared the worst for him.
As soon as you saw the Yarra Valley Toyota replay, we did fear the worst.
It was sickening, but the club will know the full extent of his injury in the coming days, but he has avoided that ACL, which is good news. Just some team news for Sunday. Darcy from Fremantle, Sean Darcy, has been rested. Schultz comes in. And what about this? Jack Stephen out rested and in Hunter Clark. From a St Kilda perspective, that's not a bad little swap for a trip to Perth.
He was very good in the pre-season. The Saints, top 10 draft pick from a couple of years ago, and a lot of people were surprised he didn't play in the opening 2 rounds. So big chance for him on the wide open expanses of Perth Stadium.
We know Sean Burgoyne has a soft tissue injury. Shields is also out for Hawthorn, but Wingard comes in, and I can tell you he will play forward for the Hawks against the Roos, who Marley Williams is out for them, and Dumont comes in. Gold Coast on the Dogs, no changes. And Jake Lever for Melbourne, he will return to the main training group at Melbourne on Monday, which is good news for the Ds.
After the break, we'll go around the grounds with thanks to Me Bank with the 2 scores from the VFL games, opening round of the VFL kicking off this weekend. But let's take a break for some news headlines from the MCG. We head to the Macquarie National Newsroom. Say a very good evening to Stephanie Wacklewick.